Okay, guys, Lokean Problems 101. And yeah, we changed the tags a little bit, so we have some heathenry in the tags, some Odin in the tags, and the Wicca is gone. We changed the channel description, all this good stuff. We're not going to play it because I suck at these kind of games, and I think the rig would melt down into a pile of goo, but God of War, right? They have the Norse flavor now, and I watched like an hour-long cinematic thing of like all the cutscenes, and it was pretty cool from one standpoint. But if you have zero chill, you're just gonna detonate and explode. I'm gonna warn you, if you don't like Jotnar, for example, it's heavily pro Jotnar, like really heavily pro Jotnar. You're really not gonna like it. And as God of War fans will know, Loki's been in the game for years, and this is kind of like his evolution from the character he is currently to claiming the mantle of Loki. And it now makes sense why I've seen Lokeans ask each other about Loki having bow and arrow, and I'm like, what? Like, what? Why would he? He could. Are you talking about involvement with Scaldi? What are what do you mean? Oh, okay, you got it from a video game. Makes sense now. Yeah, it's like, there's also another one out there, I can't even think of it, but it's a turn-based, card-based game, and you are supposed to get points for your loyalty to your gods, and like the Loki in there is absolutely terrifying, and I don't know if he fights with his fishnet, but he has it and he's absolutely terrifying. I mean, and Loki's like, yeah. So Loki's happy with that game. Odin not so much. Odin, they took the evil part, not evil, we don't have good and evil, but you know what I mean. They took the not so nice part of Odin and they just ratcheted that sucker up the whole way. It's like he has no redeeming features whatsoever. He was nice to Freya, but only because she was doing exactly what he wanted, because he's pure evil. Blah, ha, 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 ha. It would drive a lot of you into a rage. Thor is one of the bad guys, but if you are Jotnar society, what do you think of the Norse gods, and what do you think of Thor? He wouldn't be your favorite god. He wouldn't. They're actually another group of gods. They're not this race of giants. I think they're more typified, from what I saw and understood of the game, they're more typified as giants. But what would you think? Being another family of gods, race, whatever, what would you think of this guy that keeps coming and fighting with you guys? Even if you were the one starting stuff, none of us ever sees ourselves as the villains. Even if they were running around causing havoc and damage and eating humans or whatever they're being accused of, they're calm down, Jotnar, focused people. Whatever they were accused of doing, they still wouldn't appreciate, the Aesir rolling up and stopping all their fun. And by the way, if you're kind of new to working with them, it's not that the Jotnar are seen as evil, they're seen as more wild and unpredictable. Some can be friendly, some would kill a human on sight. That's lore based. That is lore based. That's not me being mean or anti-Jotnar. That is lore based. It's like there have been tales in either the lore or later stories where like Jotnar, especially the women, will fall in love with a human and protect them and everything. But there are also many that would just go mom, 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 mom. So you wonder where a lot of those English stories of giants eating people come from. No doubt, at least a little from Norse mythology. Yeah. So we're just having a good one. He's excited. He wants, to see God of War Loki, and so I'm like, no, I don't want to see this. We have enough to do with Marvel. We never got them really from Smite. There were a few Smite Lokians, and when they realized that it really had nothing to do with, the action of a Smite game, I don't think too many stayed around. And I don't think we're going to get too many God of War Lokians. It was like dropped into 2018 that that he was Loki, and I haven't seen too many show up. I think a few, but then again, we're not running around doing cool stuff like in a video game, so I think they lost interest too. But, he's happy. I don't know if I told you this time, but we changed the tags, and, we have the Heathen tag because Loki would like the heathen tag. Loki would like me to pick up the mantle of heathen. No one can tell you to heathen, but every heathen on the internet will. That's kind of thing. Nobody can tell you how to be a heathen, but every single heathen you meet is going to tell you, well, let me tell you the 20 things you're doing wrong. Heathens love a fight, was what heathens love to do. If you think Wiccans can get into some dust ups about stuff, heathens take it to a whole other level. And as we said in the last video, we've been kicking stuff back and forth, and I can't tell you how to heathen, I can't tell you how to Lokean, but you can take these stories as true in a sense. But you can also believe, for example, in evolution. You can believe that the gods created us, in a sense, and you can believe in evolution. One doesn't have to cancel out the other. They can be true simultaneously. It is true we evolved, but it's also true the gods had some part in our creation, whatever part that was. And there is nothing, no specific longitude or latitude in the lore that I know of that says we're Odin created people, so it's still a valid story. I got, yes. And it did, the tales had to be simple for, our ancestors. They weren't dumb. That was actually cutting edge stuff for them. But, someone finding driftwood and cradling it like a little baby, making humans, that was what they had. And they're actually right if you think of it, because our first ancestors would have lived near the shore and would have been from part of Africa. And they got that part right. So, it's, where did the story originally come from? Is it a memory of like distant memories of Africa? We don't know, but cool speculation. And it's one of those things where you can believe in that. You can see Odin as a creator goddess. You were probably raised to see another god as a creator god, even though that god was part of a pantheon and then went solo and didn't recognize anyone else. Like, yeah, um, you can do that. You can believe in Odin as a creator god. You can believe Loki doing X, Y, and Z. But you can also believe in science. You can also believe in other stuff. And, that's kind of a hard balance to have in heathenry, I think. Like, we have science on this planet, but, even I have times where it's like, is it a science thing or is it a faith thing? Like, sometimes you don't know. If we lean too much towards science, it's really easy to lose your faith, to go, well, there's no scientific proof of the gods, or never will be. How are we going to prove, something that is so intangible? You can't measure a god or put them under a microscope or, dissolve them into goo or atoms or something. I got, hey. But, at the same time, you can't disprove them either. So there you go. And if you get too much into religion or spirituality or whatever you want to do, you run the risk of, unmooring totally from this reality of, science becomes the bad guy out to kill the gods. Everybody else is the enemy. You're so under fire. People don't understand. You have the one true spirituality. Even if Odin told you that, Odin says a lot of things. So, best quote ever. Yeah, Odin says a lot of things. Sometimes they're truthful, sometimes not so much. If he told you heathenry's like the one true religion, yeah, just in one ear out the other, my darlings. Odin would like everyone to be heathen. He would like everybody on this planet to be heathen. He would love that. Every single person to convert to heathenry, and he could take Rome and he could just repurpose it. He would love that. He would adore that. And they could all be Odin's people. And, yep. And that would be kind of cool. I mean, I wouldn't want to take anyone's gods from them, but can you imagine if everyone were heathen tomorrow? Oh god, maybe not. Coming to think of it, maybe not. That might not improve things at all. Forget I said that. But, Loki's happy, I'm happy. It's actually feels like it's gonna work this time because it feels like we're doing it at the right time for the right reasons. I'm not doing it just because Odin wanted something. I'm not doing it just because I was like trying to distance myself from Wicca, which I haven't been Wiccan for years. Um, Doing it because it's the right thing to do at the right time, and I just, I'm never gonna be totally happy with a lot of the stuff that goes on in the name of heathenry. Neither should you be. Intolerance, bigotry, stuff like that. But it's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. And there are always going to be those people that try to represent the gods, Odin, Loki especially, this twisted form and claim to speak for them. But they're no better than, the average mega preacher screeching about brimstone and hellfire. So, Odin just took all my excuses one by one and tore them up, and Loki helped him. Loki helped him, and Loki's like, "You have to be heathen, you have to, cause tell you what, it's getting kind of lonely out here." Yeah, and you guys know, cause I go to Heathenry Reddit a lot, and I see a lot of Lokeans pop up there. Not saying you watch the channel, but you know, I see you out there, and I see Lokeans being like, "Yarr," whatever Loki's mentioned. I know when the Lokeans are around, because someone will start talking smack about him, and 80 people jump out of nowhere, and they're like, "Let me tell you something, you punk." So, so, so hashtag, you know, Heathenry Reddit, you know, Lokeans are awesome because they usually do a pretty good job of representing. Don't just let people draw you into arguments though, guys. How many times have we seen that one guy go, "Well, I don't like Loki. Justify, you know, worshiping Loki." Let him go sulk in a corner. That's what he deserves. Remember, a lot of people on Heathenry Reddit, some are great people, some actually practice, and some are just armchair heathens, neckbeards, whatever. You takes your chances. You might go there, ask a question, and meet wonderful, insightful people, and you might meet the worst people on the internet. You know, play safe up there, kids. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.